Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13 News Live at 5 starts now.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Emily Tinser, filling in for Amy Nay. Today is a big day for BYU football. It's the home opener for the Cougars as they take on the Sam Houston Bearcats in their first game as a member of the Big 12 Conference. We'll go live at LaVell Edwards Stadium in just a moment, but first, Fox 13 sports reporter Morgan Vance begins our team coverage with a preview of tonight's game.
With the Utes in the books on Thursday, we can set our sights on BYU's first game as a member of the Big 12 fraternity. It all begins tonight against a program playing their very first game at the FBS level. Sam Houston, now a member of Conference USA after some productive years in the FCS. As for the Cougars, they're dealing with their own change, but are 19.5-point favorites to beat the Bearcats.
They're going to give us their best shot, and this is a talented team now. Before last year, they had won 22 straight games and a national championship and what they say is the best season in the history of college football. So this is a team that knows how to win, and we got to be ready for their best shot, which we will be.
It's week one. It's just as big a game for us as it is for them. So we're prepared to play the best that we can do and play how we know we can play.
Next guy up. It's the same thing. We're not changing the scheme for nobody. Feel me? Everybody should be able to do the same thing the guy in front of us is doing. So if I go down, next guy up, somebody else, it's every position, offense and defense. We're all expected to be just as good as the guy in front of us or even better.
Morgan Vance, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Continue our team coverage now with Fox 13 News reporter Mythili Gooby. She joins us live at LaVell Edwards Stadium, showing us the excitement of fans and everything that's going on. Mythili.
Emily, I don't know if you can hear it, but there's already music going on. There's so much excitement here right outside the stadium. The Cougars playing Sam Houston tonight. Now kickoff is at 8:15, but even before that, there's just so much excitement, so many things happening right here at Cougar Canyon. Now there's a concert stage, games happening here, food vendors, meet the player experiences, and so much more. I've been talking to people who are so excited for this experience, some even flying out to Provo just to be part of it. I spoke to Andrew Clark, who's visiting from Vancouver, Washington, just to watch the game. Now take a listen.
Oh, it's everything. We've been Cougar fans forever. In fact, have a great grandfather who has a building named after him here on campus, the Harold R. Clark building. So we're Cougars through and through, and we love it.
Now it's 5 p.m., so this area just opened up and a bunch of people are coming through with so many activities lined up just ahead of kickoff. Now this year, Cougar Canyon has an expansion. They have a backyard area, and we'll take you there. We'll show you what all of that's about just coming up. So stay with us here on Fox 13. Live at BYU, I am Mythili Gooby. Fox 13 News, Utah.
Thanks, Mythili. Now, I know that people still want it to be a little bit of fall right now, but it's still pretty hot. I wonder what it's like down in Cougar Canyon, Dan.
Oh, looking good. It should be a good game. I mean, not just because it'll be a good football game, but the weather will be nice. And we do have some areas of concern, however, in southern Utah. Parts of Kane and also Garfield counties getting some heavy rains. We've seen heavy rains off again, on again during the day today in St. George. But right now in this vicinity near Colorado City, we have a flash flood warning there, and south as well as to the north over southern Zion National Park, there is a flash flood warning. Those are in effect for the next hour, hour and a half. But again, we have more thunderstorms to talk about right here near the, looks like big water area to the north and northwest around Bryce Canyon. We've seen those heavy thunderstorms in Bryce Canyon. Right now, possibly some flash flooding in the area. Also some rain near I would say just to the east right there of Cuscarum, and also some pretty heavy rain in Torrey. We go a little bit north and nothing much along the Wasatch Front. That's why I say it seems pretty good for the game. More showers and thunderstorms out to the west. Now, the greatest chance for flash flooding where you see the yellow here. So this again includes all of those zones that I was talking about for the next couple of hours. I'll have more on the forecast for Salt Lake City, and we have some very wet weather headed our way coming up.
Thanks, Dan. New at 5, Salt Lake City police have arrested a man who allegedly shot at a tow truck driver earlier this week. Police say on August 27th, officers were called out to the 1700 block of West Gertie Avenue near Redwood Road in North Temple on a report of a tow truck driver's back window being shot out. The tow truck driver was not injured. Officers saw surveillance video and determined the suspect to be 34-year-old Oscar Rivera. Rivera was taken into custody last night when investigators found him in a car near Redwood Road and Cesar Chavez Drive in West Valley City. He's now behind bars at the Salt Lake County Metro Jail. Utah County Commissioners have officially passed a resolution declaring this September as Promise to Live Month. The resolution aims to combat high suicide rates in the county by promoting suicide prevention awareness and fostering a culture of care and understanding within communities. Utah County Commissioner Amelia Powers Gardner first brought this issue forward to her fellow commissioners. She sought out to raise awareness to the issue by opening up the conversation and destigmatizing this sensitive topic.
I have 6 children. I have 4 teenage boys. And teenage boys, particularly ages 13 to 21, of whom I have 4, are significantly more likely to commit suicide than any other demographic. It doesn't hurt to ask someone if they need some help, but it could hurt to not ask.
Promise to Live is a global campaign where we're asking people everywhere, whether they struggle or not, to make a promise that if you ever find yourself in a dark place, you promise that you're going to reach out to someone, anyone, a friend, a family member.
To learn more about the Promise to Live campaign, go to promisetolive.org, and that's the number 2 in the website address. If you or someone you know is having a crisis or has thoughts of self-harm, please call 988. It's a 24/7 confidential lifeline for anyone in emotional distress. Volunteers with the group Tree Utah kicked off their fall planting season by planting trees at Wheeler Farm in Murray this morning. Around 25 volunteers placed trees around the perimeter of the central lawn to help mitigate any heat islands that form around concrete walkways, as well as add beauty and shade to the area.
We work with different landowners to figure out what type of tree to put in and where there's locations in need of trees, and then Tree Utah matches up our fundraising efforts to figure out how to get trees paid for in these areas so that we can engage these volunteers and staffers in getting these trees planted today.
Tree Utah will be out every Saturday through at least the beginning of November to plant more trees at parks throughout the state. If you'd like to sign up to volunteer with them, go to treeutah.org.
The president getting a first-hand look at the devastation from Idalia here in Florida. I'm Katie Byrne. I'll have that story coming up.
The Pentagon is launching a new website for all things UFO. I'm Mallory Rivera in Washington with details on what you can find on that site coming up.
I'm guessing you didn't know that one Salt Lake City family, just one, once produced 75% of the popular Japanese seasoning miso in the United States. Edward Fujimoto and his wife Ray were the proud owners of Fujimoto and Company. It was located just behind the Rio Grande Depot. While the company was originally opened out in San Francisco in 1917 by Edward's father, the road to success in Utah was long, winding, and full of hardship. During the dark days of World War II, when over 127,000 Japanese Americans were forced into U.S. internment camps, Edward, along with Ray and their teenage daughter Grace, both of whom were U.S. citizens, were sent to the Topaz Relocation Center near Delta, Utah. While in the internment camp, Ray wrote to the Salt Lake City Council and against all odds obtained a business license. By 1945, Edward and Ray had established the Fujimoto and Company, their new miso business, using traditional methods and employing many recently released individuals who came from the camps. Along with miso, the Fujimotos were true entrepreneurs, also owning a shoe shop and a bathhouse. Decades later, Fujimoto and Company was acquired by Miyako Oriental Foods in the 70s, and after all these years, the miso is still manufactured in California under the Kanemasa brand.
That was Fox 13 News digital reporter Shanti Lerner. In national news, the president paid a visit to Florida today as the state recovers from its latest major storm after Hurricane Idalia caused serious damage to some of the state's most vulnerable communities. Fox Weather's Katie Byrne has that story.
President Biden on the ground Saturday in North Florida, getting a first-hand look at the extent of the damage caused by Hurricane Idalia.
When people are in real trouble, the most important thing you can give them is hope. And we're not going anywhere, the federal government. We're here to help the state as long as it takes.
There are no plans for Biden to meet with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, though the two have spoken regularly about recovery efforts. Idalia came ashore Wednesday as a Category 3 hurricane, the most powerful storm to hit Florida's Big Bend region in over a century. Record-setting storm surge carving through some coastal communities.
It wiped this house right off of its foundations. It was an elevated house of about 8 foot off the ground, but when the storm surge hit it and waves on top of the storm surge, it busted it all to pieces and it's gone.
Tens of thousands are still without power. Crews hope to get most of those homes back up and running by Sunday. The National Guard is on the ground helping to clean up and clear out debris. There's estimated to be as much as $20 billion in damage. Despite the devastation, residents are doing what they can to help out their neighbors and move forward.
It's the worst storm we've ever been through. And we're going to rebuild. It'll never be the same.
Biden is asking Congress to increase FEMA's funding after a year of several major natural disasters. In Live Oak, Florida, Katie Byrne, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Tonight, Fox 13 will air a 30-minute special report from Scripps News called No Surrender, Ukraine's Unsung Heroes. Scripps News correspondent Jason Bellini will report from the front lines to meet the heroes saving their country. That special report will air in just a few hours tonight on Fox 13 at 9:30. It's a website of galactic proportions. After months of anticipation, the Pentagon is officially launching an online site for logging UFO sightings. Fox's Madeline Rivera has more from Washington.
The truth is out there, and the Pentagon is unveiling a new website aimed at learning more about UFOs.
This will be something that we'll continue to keep the public updated on.
The site, which was launched by the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or AARO, will be full of declassified pictures, videos, and other reports of unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs. Eventually, users will also be allowed to submit information for AARO to then review.
As we move ahead into the future, there will be a subsequent update to that site that will allow DoD service members or civilians to provide reports via a private and secure means.
Interest in UAPs skyrocketed this summer after a whistleblower told a House Oversight Committee in July he believed the government was covering up evidence of non-human technology. He pointed to sightings by commercial pilots of objects with flight patterns they could not understand.
We have nothing that can stop in midair and go the other direction, nor do we have anything that can, like in our situation, come down from space, hang out for 3 hours, and go back up.
The Department of Defense hopes this new site will increase transparency.
AARO is focused on the facts, taking in information.
AARO plans to launch its reporting tool in the fall, first for government employees and service members. There isn't a timeline yet as to when the public will be able to submit reports. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox 13 News, Utah.
We have Dan Pope joining us here tonight to talk weather. It's September. Some people are ready for fall and flannels. The pumpkin spice lattes are out.
It's a good thing.
But it's still hot.
But today it is. But wait until Labor Day. Oh, you'll like those lattes and you'll love those flannel shirts and all of that. I'm telling you, this thing coming in is the first significant cold front we've seen since mid-May. It'll be the coolest you've seen in quite a while. But in the meantime, it is hot. There's no doubt about it. And because of the heat, we're talking about flash flood conditions and flood warnings all over southwest Utah, south central Utah. And as we move in a little closer, we have these flash flood warnings, parts of Zion National Park and right here near Colorado City. Also a flash flood warning right at Big Water. And this is the drainage that heads in. I think it's the Paria River drainage going into Lake Powell. And beyond that, we also have some warnings in northern Utah for flooding, which will be for later tomorrow through Monday. So here comes a cold front. And watch what happens with that cold front. It kind of stretches out for us on Sunday at 6, but by Sunday afternoon, it's approaching. Now that's going to create gusty southerly winds ahead of it. There will be some showers and thunderstorms developing, especially late Sunday. So during the late Sunday time frame, southerly winds, here comes the cold front. Watch what happens on Monday morning. This is at 7 a.m. So that cold front swings through. And I mean, we're talking about a real cold front with cold rain and probably snow down to 10,000, 11,000 feet in the high Uintas if you're going in that direction. That is a significant issue. Now, during the day, Labor Day, that front will move on into eastern Colorado, leaving behind a westerly upslope flow, which will keep showers going all day long, at least most of the day along the Wasatch Front. Now, as we head into Tuesday, just a very slight chance for a shower as this weak disturbance coming in behind the front moves by. After that, it's a ridge of high pressure and primarily dry weather. That ridge builds strongly, continues to build, and here we are into Friday and then into Saturday. Again, a little weak disturbance, primarily impacting Montana and Wyoming, and also same goes for Sunday, a week from tomorrow, even into Monday, ridge of high pressure. So we're in that phase right now where we're transitioning to the colder, wetter weather for Labor Day, and also those storms that are hitting southern Utah are definitely hitting with a pretty heavy amount of rain. But for Salt Lake City, wet and much cooler on Labor Day, but tomorrow should be warm but breezy. Those gusty southerly winds out ahead of the front, and those southerly winds will pick up along the western side of Utah and throughout the Wasatch Front, western side of the Salt Lake Valley, Tooele Valley, West Desert. Should see that wind really gusting. There will be thunderstorms, especially afternoon and evening, and along the Wasatch Front, as the cold front approaches, we'll see the darkening of the clouds and those chances for showers and thunderstorms increasing with that front coming in after sunset tomorrow night. So most of the day looks okay in the north, but we'll still see those showers and thunderstorms across southern Utah for a good portion of the day tomorrow, also in Nevada. So chance for showers and thunderstorms slowly decreasing during the day Sunday. Monday, cool weather for southern Utah, 82. You kind of like that. Perfect weather for doing a hike on Labor Day. In fact, if you want to escape the rain along the Wasatch Front on Labor Day, Monday is going to be the best day in southern Utah. And into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we start to warm up back closer to average for this time of the year. Lots of sunshine and really quite nice weather. Again, for the Wasatch Front, it'll be a slight chance in the morning, a much higher chance in the late afternoon and evening tomorrow. So not all a complete washout, but then tomorrow night and Monday, periods of rain showers and thunderstorms, and temperature of 69 for a high Monday, snow above about 11 to 12,000 feet in the Uintas if you know someone who's going there. Tuesday, slight risk for a shower or a thunder shower, warming back up to 78. And then the remainder of the week looks really quite nice. 86 on Thursday, 87 Friday, close to 90 on Saturday. And I don't see any significant wet weather again for a little while. So Emily, it hits right in the middle of a Labor Day, but you mentioned it earlier, flannel shirts and, you know, hot chocolate, those kinds of things looking pretty good for Labor Day in Salt Lake City on the Wasatch Front.
The economy may be cooling, but the White House says that's Bidenomics in action. I'm Rebecca Castor in Washington. I'll have that story coming up.
The latest jobs report released on Friday shows a slowdown in hiring in August. It comes as the Biden administration unveils a new plan to extend overtime pay to millions of workers. Fox's Rebecca Castor has more.
A slowdown in hiring and fewer pay raises does not sound like good news for workers. But it's what the Federal Reserve is hoping will bring down inflation and prevent another spike in interest rates.
When I look at what happened to the unemployment rate, when I look at the increase in labor force participation, when I look at the slowdown in wage gains, to me that points to a Fed pause in September.
The latest jobs report shows 187,000 jobs were added in August, more than expected, but still low compared to the hot job market earlier this year. Unemployment rose to 3.8%.
This jump in unemployment is due entirely to more people coming into the labor market. I think that's a sign of optimism, of people looking for jobs.
The White House continuing to praise Bidenomics for preventing a U.S. recession.
It wasn't that long ago that 20 million Americans were out of work. But the American people didn't give up.
But the president's critics say he's to blame for high consumer prices and record high interest rates.
You have 2 out of 3 American families saying, no, these things aren't working for me. I'm in worse shape
than I was 4 years ago.
Meanwhile, the Biden administration is proposing a new rule that would make 3.6 million more U.S. workers eligible for overtime pay. But business groups are pushing back. The new proposal requires employees to pay overtime to most salaried workers that make less than $1,059 a week. It's likely, however, this rule will be contested in court before taking effect. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox 13 News, Utah.
More than 6 million adults have heart failure in the U.S. That's according to a 2020 report from the American Heart Association. But early diagnosis and treatment can help those with this potentially deadly condition. Mandy Gaither has 11 tips for living with heart failure.
It's a condition where the heart can't pump enough blood and oxygen to support other organs in the body. Heart failure is serious and can have a huge impact on health and quality of life.
Patients just can't function because they can't breathe and they start getting swollen and swollen over time.
Dr. Emmanuel Finette with Cleveland Clinic says there's a broad spectrum of heart failure severity. He says patients first need to know what type of the syndrome they have and learn about it.
It's much easier when we have patients that can have an education, they can understand what is going on, and can anticipate issues as well.
Finette says most heart failure patients will be prescribed medications. Consistently taking that medicine on time is critical. He also says to monitor symptoms, watch for changes in body fluid, swelling, or shortness of breath. Monitor weight, blood pressure, and heart rate, and limit sodium.
Ideally, they should stay within 3 grams of sodium, less than 3 grams of sodium, if at all possible.
Finette says maintaining a healthy lifestyle is also key. That means no smoking, staying at a healthy weight, exercising 150 minutes a week, getting adequate sleep, controlling diabetes, maintaining a low blood pressure, and having a healthy low-fat diet.
Heart failure is a chronic condition. It's rarely cured, but it can be controlled.
I'm Mandy Gaither reporting.
Food pantries typically provide the staples in our American diet, but what if your faith requires something different? We'll take a closer look when we come back. Plus, 3 women were attacked by a stranger who broke into their home. What they say about the suspect's strange behavior.
BYU plays their season opener tonight here in Provo. Kickoff is at 8:15, but there's so much fun before that. We'll bring you all the excitement coming up.
Excitement is ramping up and down in Provo. Fox 13 News reporter Mythili Gooby joins us live at the Cougar Canyon Fan Experience at BYU. She's going to show us how it's going down there. Mythili.
Emily, there's so much excitement here. We showed you one part of Cougar Canyon earlier. We're here with more. We're here with some fans as well. You guys excited?
Go
There is so much excitement here. Kickoff isn't until 8:15, but the experience continues here at the backyard. This is a new area. I'm here with Anna Metcalf, who is the director of fan experience for BYU Athletics. Anna, how's it going out here?
We are so excited. It's going great. We love to see the fans getting out here early. It usually fills up right after Cougar Walk, but things are going great. We're really excited about this new expansion and being able to host more people. We a little more space than just the road now.
Awesome. This area, this is the new backyard. Tell me why you wanted to have this here.
The biggest thing is we were just running out of space on the road. We wanted to have more fan activities. We wanted to be able to have more fans available. It's getting crowded and hard to get to everything and long lines. And so we just wanted to offer more, get people out of line, and actually give them a much better experience.
I love it. What can people here come to expect?
We have a little bit of everything for every demographic. We've got mini golf, we've got inflatables for the kids, we've got a football field down there. People can get a game going. We've got live DJ, all kinds of activities. It'll change week to week. And hopefully see some more things added some weeks and see some variety each week.
And why is it important for you to cater to the fan experience side of these games?
We're just we want to build lifetime, long-lasting Cougar fans. So we're just trying to give them every opportunity to interact with the brand and to really love BYU athletics and just embrace everything it is to be a Cougar.
That's awesome. Now this part is open until 8 p.m. tonight. Kickoff is at 8:15. BYU playing the season opener against Sam Houston right here in Provo. At BYU, I am Mythili Gooby, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Thanks, Mythily. It looks like a lot of fun down there. Dan, do you think when the kickoff happens, is it going to be a little chilly, or fans going to need more of a hoodie, or are they still kind of in that summer season?
Oh, it's going to be perfect. Temperatures in the mid-upper 70s to start the game, low to mid-70s through the game. Looks fantastic. But in southern Utah, we've had a whole different story the last several days as very heavy rains have been hitting. And for the next couple of hours, you can see southern Zion National Park near Colorado City, and also in the Big Water area, that Paria River drainage, all under flash flood warnings. There's a flood watch over much of southern and parts of northern Utah, but I got to show you the activity is fairly widespread west of Salt Lake City. The only thing that might impact the game, you see that little cluster of thunderstorms right there that's out over, looks like western Millard County. Doesn't look like it'll be a big factor, but we still have to keep an eye on it for sure. Now in southern Utah, northeast Nevada, we've had nothing but off again, on again heavy rain. So Elko again getting hit hard. And then in southern Utah, we have those thunderstorms. The reason we have the flash flood warnings in effect, you can see, because of those heavy thunder showers moving through the region, some of them picking up really, really heavy on the rain side. So keep that eye to the sky and make sure you're always aware of what's going on. Flash flood conditions and flood warnings all over the place. As another pretty good sludge of moisture, just a bunch of moisture coming in on Labor Day for us here along the Wasatch Front. I'll have more on the long range forecast coming up just a bit.
Thanks, Dan. Now to a Fox 13 News exclusive. 3 Saratoga Springs women are recovering after a violent home invasion on Thursday. 83-year-old Patsy Stroud and her 2 daughters, Eva Bell and Julie Ward, lived together. They say just before 5 p.m. on Thursday, they received a frantic knock on their door. When Ward opened the door, a 24-year-old woman they had never met barged into the home and began assaulting them.
My daughter got up to get her to leave, and I stepped up to help her, and she punched me square in the face, knocked me off my feet.
And she grabbed onto my arm with her teeth and then started like a dog. You know, her head was going back and forth, and she was trying to pull chunks out of my arm.
Ward said she was also punched and slapped in the face by the suspect during this incident. Both Stroud and Bell were treated for their injuries at American Fork Hospital. The suspect has been identified as Caitlin Oxendine. Saratoga Springs police arrested her shortly after the incident. She was booked on a variety of assault and burglary charges. We're only 4 days away from the primary election, and with an open mayor seat in Ogden and 7 candidates vying to be in the top 2, we wanted to see how many people have returned their ballots so far. In Ogden, Weber County Clerk Auditor Ricky Hatch says mail-in ballot turnout is about what was expected. Out of about 33,000 ballots sent out in Ogden, nearly 5,000 have been returned. That's about 15%.
Usually your open seat and your mayoral races will garner a few more voters to come out, which is unfortunate. We'd really like it to vote regardless of what the race is, but we realize it gets a little more attention. Oddly enough, we haven't seen that in Ogden. Ogden's on par with the rest of the county as far as turnout. I suspect it may pull ahead a little bit in the final days.
Looking at ballots returned countywide so far, Hooper is the highest with 16%. Ogden and North Ogden are both at 15%, and Roy is at 13%. So far, in total, 14% of ballots sent out have been returned in Weber County. Food pantries around the country supply needed nutrition for millions of Americans who can't afford to put food on the table. Most of the items are pretty typical staples, but what if your religion requires something not so typical? In tonight's Two Americas report, Matt Pearl travels to a pantry where keeping the faith is a priority.
At their most lofty and grand, the statues that represent America represent our ideals, what we aim to be, what we proclaim to be. Reality puts those ideals to the test.
You here? You have to wait.
The Community Food Pantry at Highbridge is one of nearly 20 food pantries in the Bronx, New York.
I need a number over here.
It's a few blocks from Yankee Stadium, a few miles from the Manhattan skyline. And it's a largely immigrant community that has long relied on what pantries provide.
And it's not even 10 o'clock yet.
Especially this pantry.
This is why we need the pantry.
One of a handful in the country
Hey, what's up?
that serves halal meat.
I am the person who started this madness.
Noura Amatullah runs the Muslim Women's Institute for Research and Development.
Buenos dias, good morning.
The food pantry is her creation.
Assalamu alaikum.
And while most who use her pantry don't share her faith,
She deserves it.
she knows its importance to those who do.
In taking a life, right, in terms of an animal for food, we acknowledge the sacredness of life.
So if someone who is Muslim cannot access halal meat,
It is a problem. You know, like 3.
access is one problem. Access combined with all the ripples of a global pandemic create a bigger one.
Health disparity, economic disparity, access. COVID just ripped that open.
2.5 years since the pandemic began, its impact continues to be felt by people of faith. Early on, more than twice as many Americans said they felt less connected to their congregations. Even now, as restrictions have mostly lifted, a third of U.S. adults who used to attend services regularly have yet to return.
Did you pick up Kobani meat?
For America's nearly 3.5 million Muslims, inflation and supply chain issues have sent prices soaring for an essential component of their faith.
Almost 250% increase, which is significant. No one's salary increases that much.
Normally open 2 days a week, this summer the pantry added a third day of service specifically for children.
Louise!
On this day, when their community arrives, pantry volunteers pull bricks of lamb from the freezer.
Okay.
They supply for some a fundamental need.
We were going to continue to serve.
Service is a part of faith.
Yeah. Yes.
Faith, service, community. They can be difficult to maintain for any number of real-world reasons. But for so many, the ability to embrace them all is a cornerstone of this country. It imbues our most powerful monuments. It's a reminder of what we all desire.
The way you get to being a better person is to see the divine presence in everyone else.
In the Bronx, New York, I'm Matt Pearl.
Coming up, why has this year's wildfire season here in Utah been so uneventful compared to the years past? We'll take a look at the numbers when we come back in 60 seconds. So far in Utah, between 13,000 and 14,000 acres have burned in wildfires, but those are historically low numbers. Fox 13 news anchor Max Roth went in depth to understand what's happening and what it could mean in the near future.
Utah's wildfire season has been remarkably quiet. And while August and September are often times for big fires, there's no indication we're on the cusp of something big here. And our water year likely has everything to do with that. I made this chart to compare water and wildfire years. Water's blue, fire's orange. And in 5 years, we've had our 2 biggest fire years during our 2 driest water years. But more than that, a big water year followed by a bad water year led to really bad fire years. Go back to 2017. The water year then, 38 inches of precipitation on average, a lot. The next water year, just 21. That's terribly dry. And 2018 saw nearly 500,000 acres of Utah wildlands burn. The next water year, 2019, really big, 39 inches, and only 92,000 acres burned, a big turnaround. But again, that big water year, followed by a bad water year in 2020, 24 inches of precipitation, led to another really bad fire year in 2020, 329,000 acres burned. Our current cycle is a little different. A 2021 bad water year, 25 inches of precipitation, a good fire year, 61,000 acres burned. A mediocre water year in 2022, 29 inches, and a great wildfire year, 27,000 acres burned. And in 2023, a month left in our water year and 38 inches of precipitation. It's going to get bigger. And so far, a historically good fire year. So this next water year, if it's good, could completely change recent trends. But if it's dry, watch out for fires next year. We may be growing the vegetation that dries out and fuels it. In studio, Max Roth, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Now to entertainment headlines, and we start off with sad news. Jimmy Buffett, the singer who built himself a business empire, has died at the age of 76. The musician and entrepreneur made sharing his love of warm tropical places his life's work. CNN's Stephanie Elam looks back at his journey to Margaritaville and all the places in between.
Wasted away again in Margaritaville.
Jimmy Buffett's laid-back songs captured the feel of lazy days in paradise. Some called his signature sound Gulf and Western, a mix of country and Caribbean music.
I love the Caribbean through a sort of a strange way. My grandfather was a sailing ship captain, and he sang the Calypso songs. So all this sort of amalgamation of material came in and came back out. And I learned to be a performer, and that gave me the vehicle to do it.
Buffett was born Christmas Day, 1946, on the Gulf Coast in southern Mississippi, and raised in the port city of Mobile, Alabama. He began his career making country music, but only really found his musical voice after moving to Key West in the 70s.
Changes in latitude, changes in attitude, nothing remains quite the same.
His time among the colorful characters there helped inspire his tropical style and eventually led to his landmark 1977 album, Changes in Latitudes, Changes in Attitudes, and its famous hit song, Margaritaville.
Some people claim that there's a woman to blame. Now I think it could be my fault.
But Buffett's greatest musical success was on the concert stage, not the charts. He made hundreds of millions of dollars touring over the decades, supported by his legion of die-hard fans known as parrot heads.
The audience is just so much fun for me to look at. I mean, they're as entertaining to me as I hope I am to them.
His music may have been laid back, but Buffett brought so much energy to his life. He piloted airplanes, wrote best-selling books, raised funds for Democratic candidates, and amassed a fortune estimated at $1 billion through his Margaritaville lifestyle brand, which included restaurants, hotels, resorts, and casinos. Like his music, it was all geared toward capturing the magic of the tropical places Buffett loved best.
From New Orleans to the Gulf Coast, down into St. Bart's and other places, I still can find magic in most of those places where people think there isn't any left.
Hollywood's labor pool is taking a hit amid the ongoing strikes by actors and writers. The film, TV, and music sectors shed a combined 17,000 jobs in August, a reflection of strike activity, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics. The Writers Guild of America began its strike in May, and SAG-AFTRA, which represents performers in Hollywood, followed with their own strike in mid-July. Since then, several major films and television shows have come to an abrupt stop. The labor dispute continues with no deal in sight. Taylor Swift's Eras Tour is coming to movie theaters. Her concert film, Taylor Swift: The Eras Tour, will open in theaters across North America on October 13th. Tickets are now on sale, which will initially play in AMC theaters before moving to other cinemas. AMC says it's upgraded its website to handle the high ticket demand expected from Swifties, adding that it can now handle more than 5 times the largest ticket buying rush it has ever experienced. Of course, while Swift's Eras Tour is perhaps the most successful concert tour in recent memory, one other band is giving her a run for her money. The heavy metal band Metallica broke the attendance record for Los Angeles' SoFi Stadium, drawing approximately 78,000 fans to each of their 2 concerts last weekend. Taylor Swift's concerts in LA earlier this summer had just over 70,000 people in attendance at each show. This weekend, Metallica is playing in Arizona, and the band is giving back in a big way to those in need. Jordan Bonke from our sister station in Phoenix shows us.
This is my best one. A closer look at the ink Lance Martin wears wherever he may roam, and you'll notice Metallica is more than just a metal band to him.
For me, I have a very strong personal connection to James Hetfield. I'm in recovery. I'm about 5 years sober.
He flew in from Mississippi for both Metallica shows at State Farm Stadium this weekend. He's been a fan since the late 80s when he's had that metal hair down his back. Now the attorney by day who's rocking out by night is joining other headbangers at St. Mary's Food Bank for a good cause. Like Michelle from Wisconsin, who says she's been to over 100 Metallica shows.
It seems like no matter what's happening in life, Metallica is always around. Like good things, bad things.
Some of these folks are part of the band's nonprofit called All Within My Hands, a foundation that in part looks to end hunger and support workforce education. The band creates opportunities for fans to give back in cities they tour in before they rock out. And to these fans, nothing else matters.
Ride the lightning to ending hunger.
Friday also marks the start of Hunger Action Month. Every day in September, area food banks have different ways to raise awareness to fill food boxes and stock shelves. At St. Mary's, about 80,000 of these boxes go out to hungry families every month. The food bank says they're in need of canned fruits, veggies, and cases of water. Jerry Brown with St. Mary's says the fuel from these fans comes just in time.
We'll serve over 1,200 families today on the Friday before a long weekend because we're closed on Monday. We're going to see huge crowds today of people that are in need.
Hard rock with a bigger heart.
There's someone out there caring about them, taking enough time out of their days to put food in a box, to put food into their stomachs. That can help alleviate some of those heartaches that they might, have and ultimately save their life.
In Phoenix, I'm Jordan Bonke reporting.
It's always so cool when music is more than just music.
That's right. I mean, what great things Metallica is doing. I mean, from my day, I remember Metallica, and they're doing good things now, which is awesome.
Yes, so cool to see. But now let's talk about weather. We have Dan Pope here with us, and it is a holiday weekend, so a lot of people have a lot of plans, a lot of trips. How is that going to play out over these next few days?
It seems like southern Utah and Nevada have been hit hard today. We'll get more of that tomorrow, but it's the northern part of the state that's escaping it, which is okay. Today has been pretty good. Tomorrow should be mostly good, but look at these showers and thunderstorms still coming in across Nevada, parts of Riverside, California, into San Bernardino County, and some very heavy thunderstorms here along the Utah and Arizona border. We've had flash flood warnings as a result of these strong thunderstorms. This one in particular just to the south of Colorado City, and also some of these showers that are out just to the west over towards Bryce Canyon National Park, putting down some really heavy rains. So here we have a flash flood warning near the Big Water area, also the Paria River drainage, and in the Colorado City area. Very heavy rains have fallen here, so we've got to keep an eye on that. Also, flash flood watch until Sunday midday, all of this area and Nevada, and here in the north, mid-Sunday through mid-Monday, because we have a strong cold front coming in. With that moisture hitting up against the cold front, the clash zone will set up, and that's going to definitely bring us some heavier rain. In the meantime, flash flooding is still possible across Nevada. It looks like the funnel is taking it west of Salt Lake City tonight, although there's couple little clusters of thunderstorms here across parts of the Millard County area. So we're going to watch this. Will they move into the Wasatch Front? At this point, they look like they're heading straight north, not towards the Wasatch Front, so we'll keep an eye on them for you. But at this time, it does not look like we'll see much in the way of rain here if you're going to the BYU football game or if you're planning outside activities along the Wasatch Front. It's not 100% that it's going to be dry, but it's a pretty good chance we're going to stay fairly nice. Now, temperature outside is 83 here in the capital city, which has been a little bit breezy today. In St. George, off again, on again thunderstorms, and that has kept the temperature down at 71. Wow. I mean, normally this time of the year we should be about 97, 98 degrees, so that is a huge difference. And this is the monsoon moisture coming up. Here's a cold front, and then there's a low pressure along the west coast. we're being squeezed, okay, between the cold front and the monsoon moisture. And then once this cold front moves in, you watch what happens. Moisture starts to gather across Nevada. This is Sunday at 7 a.m. Now let's go to Sunday evening. Okay, chance for showers and storms increasing Sunday in the Wasatch Front, scattered showers and thunderstorms elsewhere. Then on Monday morning, Labor Day, that front comes through. And when it does, periods of rain showers and thunderstorms, locally heavy rain. This is when the flash flooding and flooding is possible. And then this will move through to the east, the cold front over towards Colorado. But we're in a northwest flow, so that's going to upslope the Wasatch, where we'll keep the rain going throughout much of the day on Labor Day. But if you're going south on Labor Day, should be fairly dry. It might be a little breezy, but mild temperatures should be pretty nice across southern Utah on Labor Day. A weak disturbance coming in Tuesday late, mainly in Nevada and southern Idaho. Wednesday looks pretty good. Isolated thunder showers primarily over the mountains. And then we just have a very big ridge of high pressure building for the remainder of the week as we head into Saturday and Sunday, with storms mainly across Montana and Wyoming, and dry weather for us. So tomorrow, 85 for the high. It will be good in the morning, showers and thunderstorms developing in the afternoon, heavy rain tomorrow night and Monday morning. For the rest of the state, scattered showers and thunder showers, heaviest here in southwest Utah and across Nevada as we head into the next 7 days. Cooler Monday, but like I said, Labor Day looks really good. The rest of the week, high and dry. Fantastic. The Wasatch Front, spotty showers and storms increasing in intensity tomorrow evening, tomorrow night and Monday morning, and then periods of rain with 69 Monday. Will be some snow, and the high Uinta is above about 11,000 feet. The remainder of the week, we warm up Tuesday, and then we head towards 90 on Saturday with abundant sunshine.
So it's not gone for good. It's going to make a comeback. I like the word blustery, though. I think Winnie the Pooh uses that.
Oh, I love the word blustery. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of wind. Not heavy wind, though, just blustery.
Good. Yeah, yesterday was pretty crazy with the winds.
That was windy.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Dan. We'll be right back after the break. Finally, tonight, the Hogle Zoo has a new resident. A baby zebra was born on August 29th, weighing 84 pounds. He is the third foal born to Mom Poppy in her time at the Hogle Zoo. The zoo says mom and baby are, quote, thriving. The foal walked within 30 minutes of being born, and he's already jumping.
Running.
Look at him kicking. He even gets the zoomies. The zoo says this is the last zebro they expected to join the herd for a while. Zebro.
He's a boy.
He's a cutie too.
He is cute.
He's already playing. Well, thank you for joining us tonight. We hope to see you back at 9.